How's it going? So I recently came across something interesting, which I'd like to share. Before that, I'm your common man from Common Man Tech. So have you really wondered why in the US people normally prefer just iPhones or Samsung? They don't even use the term Android, they just say Samsung, at least in the past. So a lot of Chinese mobile phones have restrictions in various countries, and we're gonna see why. So if you just search me in US, you can see it's not a good idea to buy them, or Huawei has a lot of restrictions in the US. So why? Why do they have these restrictions? It's for the fact that a lot of companies in various countries have installed certificates on your mobile for them to work properly. So these are registered companies which has these certificates installed. So before I go in deeper into it, let me show you what these certificates are and how they work. I'll quickly share my screen, mobile screen, onto my laptop so that you can see. So take any mobile, go to your settings and just search certifications. I'm using a OnePlus mobile, and for me, it's inside security and privacy, more security and privacy, credential store. So there's an option to remove all user certificates. Never do that. If you do that, it's your phone is basically a brick and it'll stop working. So go into trusted certificates. And here you can see a lot of list. So how I came to know about it is for the company I'm working, I had to manually install a certificate of the company so that they have access to my personal mobile. So why this is done is I have a lot of apps which I have to use on my mobile, and it's not something forced. It's my personal preference to use them on my phone. So I had to install the certificates. So I'm voluntarily giving permission for the company to view and access my mobile and the network which is happening within the phone. But whenever you buy a phone, all these certificates are installed out of the box. So you never get to be informed that these certificates are there and these companies are having access to your phone. For example, Amazon has access, and this has nothing to do with the Amazon shopping app. So even if you delete that application, it's gonna still be there because it's like the AWS part of Amazon. And here you can see, since my phone is a Chinese make, you can see a lot of Chinese certifications also. So all these companies may not be heard, they're not very famous, but these are registered companies and they have access to all the settings, user data in your phone. It's not just Chinese, we can see Japanese certifications, Hong Kong and Taiwan. So all these companies in various part of the world has access to your some part of your data at least. So for any mobile to work properly, these certificates are necessary, and all these are regulated companies which have provided these certificates and installed it out of the box. But what the thing we should know is anything which is there in your mobile is being accessed by these companies at all times. They're, of course, I hope they're encrypted and stored in the form of zeros and ones so that even the person working on the servers or have access to the database, they don't have actual visual contact with your personal data. But the point is, when anything is digital, it is not private anymore. So I quickly gave you the demo of how you can see the certificates. So is it actually risky to use these devices? Well, yes and no. So take any company which has access to your data. So if they decide to erase it or delete it, they can. But due to the regulations they have as a company, not one person will be having access to do it within the company. But in case of governmental issues, we all know that Meta and other Facebook, Instagram takes our data and then they sell it for advertisement. But if the US government decides to track these data, they have full rights to contact Meta and take the data. So that is why these Chinese phones, which have the Chinese certificates installed in your phone, the US and some other countries don't prefer to use these devices because the data of US citizens or the other citizens will be stored in the servers of China. And if the Chinese government wants to access it, maybe they can, because no mobile companies in China are not much stronger than the government in China. Unlike in Korea, which is famous for Samsung, the company Samsung is much more powerful than the government in Korea. So I'm not having a preference to Samsung or any other mobile company, but it's just the information I have that I would like to share. So what can we do? Like we're not very famous person that if someone would like to track us and take our data, it would be something someone would want to do. But as a common person, we should still be aware of who's having access to our data and then how we can protect it. So any personal information in your phone could be taken. So even as a hacker or a person who's next to you could have access to your data if you click on something malicious. So in the in the demo I showed, there is option to install certificates. So there are option to install certificates. So if someone would like to install certificates without your permission, and this can be done even if you have strong passwords or even without even them having physically taking your mobile. So if you click on something malicious and if it downloads in the background without you knowing, it could install some certificates and they could be having access to your camera or your data files. So what we can do as people is don't store anything very important in your phone. Have it in your diaries or something offline. Even your laptop is fine as long as it's offline. If you store it in Google or cloud, then it still has a possibility that it could be hacked or taken. So these are the things I would like to share, and then I did it. I obviously don't post a lot of videos for me to ask you to subscribe, but when I do so, it may be important. So stay tuned. See you.